Have you ever felt your blood boil in an instant, your mind consumed by the need to respond, to fight back? That moment when someone's words or actions hit you like a hammer, and your emotions spiral out of control. The pressure builds, your chest tightens, and all you can think about is how to retaliate. It's an all too familiar feeling, isn't it? This constant tug of war between what we feel and how we want to react. The overwhelming urge to be seen, to be understood, to defend ourselves at any cost. But what if I told you that this battle doesn't need to be fought? What if I told you that the power to not only control these moments, but to be free from them entirely is within your grasp? Not by suppressing your anger or shutting down your emotions, but by embracing a deeper ancient truth that has been passed down through centuries: Stoicism. A philosophy that holds the key to mastering your emotional world, a key to transforming your reactions into something far greater than mere control. In a world where chaos is constantly knocking at our door, be it in the form of insults, disappointments, or frustrations, the idea of emotional mastery can feel impossible, even out of reach. We are taught to react, to defend, to prove ourselves. But what if emotional freedom didn't lie in fighting every battle that came our way? What if the true power was found not in the fight, but in the calm, the silence, the moment of pause before the storm? That is what Stoicism offers us, a path to transform our most intense feelings into wisdom, strength, and peace. Imagine for a moment that no person, no situation, no word could ever take your peace away. What would it feel like to walk through your days unshaken by external turmoil, untethered from the need to prove anything to anyone? This isn't just a lofty ideal, it's a possibility. And by the end of this journey, you will understand that emotional mastery isn't about suppressing your feelings or becoming numb. It's about freedom. Freedom from the chaos of the world around you. Freedom from the chains of anger, frustration, and vulnerability. You are not your emotions. You are the space between them. And it's in that space that true power is found. So, let's begin this journey together. Let's explore how to never get angry or bothered by anyone again. Let's unlock the hidden power of emotional mastery. What if I told you that anger, in its purest form, is not something that happens to you, but something you create? That every time you feel yourself losing control, it's not the world around you that's pushing your buttons. It's your perception of the world that's doing the work. Imagine for a moment that every insult, every criticism, every injustice is simply a reflection of how you choose to see it. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, taught us that insults have no power unless we give them meaning. It's not the words that hurt us, but the weight we place on them. Someone can call you names, attack your character, but it's only when you believe their words hold truth that they gain the ability to wound you. The next time someone offends you, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, is this criticism truly a reflection of your worth? Or is it a glimpse into that person's inner struggles? You might be surprised at how often negativity has little, if anything, to do with you. In those moments, the ability to see with a Stoic eye, one that perceives the world through the lens of internal peace rather than external disturbance, becomes your shield. It's like looking through clear water where the ripples of the world are there, but they can't muddy the depths of your calm. This is the secret to emotional mastery, not fighting against external forces, but shifting the focus inward, where true control lies. The invisible force behind anger isn't the insult or the situation itself, it's how we interpret it. When you stop reacting to the external world and shift your focus to your internal world, you begin to reclaim control. You start to realize that nothing outside of you can make you feel anything unless you allow it. The moment you acknowledge that, you take the first step toward freedom. Anger, frustration, and disappointment lose their grip, no longer having the power to pull you into their chaos. There's an exercise you can try right now. In the middle of any emotional storm, when anger arises, take a step back. Close your eyes for just a moment and silently repeat to yourself, "This is their problem, not mine." Do you feel the shift? Notice how, in that brief moment of reflection, the weight of the situation starts to lift. The anger dissipates like fog burning off under the warmth of the sun. This is the quiet power of perception. It's not magic, it's a mental shift, a reprogramming of your mind to no longer react impulsively, but to choose peace instead. This practice isn't about denying the emotions you feel. It's about understanding that emotions are signals, not commands. They inform you, but they do not control you. The more you practice this shift in perception, the less you will be bothered by the external world. The power of perception is the silent strength that lies within all of us, waiting to be tapped into. It's not the world that needs to change. It's how we choose to see it. In a world that glorifies speed, action, and reaction, silence often feels like a weakness. We are taught to speak up, to defend ourselves, to answer every challenge with force. But what if true strength didn't lie in the noise? What if the most powerful response to an insult or an attack wasn't to fire back immediately, but to remain silent, grounded, and unshaken? The power of silence is often underestimated. Silence is not emptiness. It is the space where clarity and true strength grow. When we are faced with an insult or a provocation, our initial instinct is to react, to defend, to justify. But in those moments, we are not strengthening ourselves. We are feeding the fire. Every word we throw back into the mix only adds fuel to the flames of anger, frustration, and conflict. But silence cools the flames. Imagine standing in the face of a storm and remaining completely still, watching the wind and rain rage around you, yet feeling no need to fight it. That is the power of silence. It is not about submission. It is about maintaining your ground. In that stillness, you begin to regain control, not of the situation, but of yourself. When you hold your silence, your ego loses its grip. It cannot rise up in defense. It cannot demand to be heard, because it has no voice in the calm of your stillness. You are no longer a slave to your impulses. You become the observer, not the participant in the chaos. Why does silence heal? It heals because, in those quiet moments, we give ourselves the space to process, to reflect, and to respond not from a place of reaction, but from a place of inner peace. The urge to react is often driven by our ego, our need to prove, to defend, to be right. But when we choose silence, we are not suppressing our emotions. We are choosing not to let them control us. The great spiritual teacher, Eckhart Tolle, once said, "In the silence, you can hear your true self." Silence is not about turning away from the world, but about turning inward. It is in the silence that we reconnect with our essence, our true power. When we allow ourselves a moment of pause, we are choosing clarity over chaos, peace over conflict. You don't need to engage with every challenge, every insult, every attack. Sometimes, the greatest power lies in stepping back in, giving yourself permission to remain undisturbed. The next time someone insults you, don't feel the pressure to react. Allow yourself a few moments of silence. Take a deep breath, hold your ground, and let the storm pass. In that silence, you'll discover a strength you never knew you had, the strength to remain unshaken. We often live as though the world should bend to our will, as though we should have control over everything around us, how others behave, the circumstances we find ourselves in, even the emotions we feel. We strive, push, and struggle to make things fit into the shape of our desires. And when they don't, we feel frustrated, defeated, and angry. But what if I told you that the true key to peace doesn't lie in controlling the world around you? What if it lies in understanding what you can and cannot control? Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, gave us one of the most profound insights into the human condition. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. These words are a beacon of wisdom in a world that constantly pushes us to take control. The power doesn't lie in making everything align with our desires. The power lies in the ability to accept what we cannot change and to focus our energy on what we can, our thoughts, our reactions, and our responses. When we try to control everything, we set ourselves up for suffering. We carry the weight of things that are not ours to carry, the actions of others, the outcome of situations beyond our influence, the unpredictable nature of life itself. The more we try to control, the more we become entangled in frustration and disappointment. We become like a river trying to fight against its current, exhausting ourselves in the process. But the true path to freedom lies in letting go of the need to control what is outside of us. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. Strength is found in the ability to recognize what is beyond our reach and to stop wrestling with it. Strength is found in choosing how we respond to the unpredictable nature of life. When we release the grip on things outside our control, we free ourselves from the constant emotional turmoil that comes with it. This is where true peace lies, not in forcing life to conform to our plans, but in embracing it as it is and choosing our responses with wisdom and grace. This is a profound shift in perspective, and it takes practice, but it is the practice of freedom. Freedom from the constant pressure to control, to manipulate, to force things into place. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on your day. Think about the moments where you tried to control something that was beyond your power, whether it was someone else's actions or a situation that didn't go your way. Acknowledge those moments without judgment, then let them go. Feel the weight lift from your shoulders as you stop carrying what isn't yours to carry. When we understand that we cannot control everything, we stop fighting against the current. Instead, we learn to flow with it, to navigate it with grace, and to find peace in the process. This is the path to emotional freedom. This is the path to true power. We often believe that true emotional strength lies in our ability to repress, to bury, to push down our anger and frustration. We tell ourselves, if I just ignore this feeling, it will go away. We convince ourselves that by holding it in, we are in control, that by not showing our anger, we are somehow stronger. But the truth is far more complex, and the cost of repression is greater than we realize. Anger, like all emotions, is not something that can be ignored indefinitely. It is energy that needs to move, that needs to be expressed. When we push it down, when we deny it, we are not controlling it, we are suppressing it. And while suppression may seem like a temporary solution, it is, in reality, a slow poison to our inner peace. Carl Jung, the great psychoanalyst, warned us about the shadow, those parts of ourselves that we deny or suppress. He taught us that the more we push these emotions away, the more they grow in the darkness, waiting for the right moment to burst forth in destructive ways. What happens when we suppress our anger? It doesn't simply disappear. It festers hidden beneath the surface, quietly building tension, feeding stress, and causing harm to our mental and physical health. Suppressed anger doesn't stay bottled up, it seeps out in other ways. It can lead to anxiety, depression, chronic stress, and even physical ailments like high blood pressure or muscle tension. It's like ignoring a fire smoldering in the background, thinking that if you just leave it alone, it will extinguish itself. But eventually, that fire will rage out of control, causing more harm than if you had dealt with it in the first place. But here's the paradox. Feeling your anger, allowing yourself to truly experience it, is not the same as being consumed by it. The act of repression is what fuels its power. The more we try to ignore or suppress our anger, the more it gains strength, and the more it controls us. It becomes a silent force, building and building, until one day, it erupts in a way we never anticipated. So, what is the solution? The answer is not to avoid anger or deny it, but to allow it to flow through you without letting it define you. Anger is a natural response. a signal that something is wrong, but it is not your identity. You are not your anger. When you feel anger rising within you, don't push it down. Instead, give yourself permission to feel it. Breathe deeply, observe the sensation without judgment, and let it pass through you. This is the practice of emotional release. By acknowledging your anger without letting it control you, you take away its power. In doing so, you also protect your body and mind from the harmful effects of repression. Neuroscientific research has shown that when we repress emotions, we trigger stress responses in the body, increasing cortisol levels and causing tension. But when we allow ourselves to experience our emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, we break the cycle of repression and restore balance. This is the true path to emotional mastery, one where we allow ourselves to feel, but don't allow our feelings to rule us. The next time anger arises, don't push it away. Allow it to be there, just for a moment. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then let it go. Notice the relief that comes when you stop fighting it. This simple practice will not only free you from the burden of suppressed emotions, but it will also bring you closer to the peace you seek. By accepting your anger, you reclaim your power. By releasing it, you release yourself. In the face of anger, provocation, or negativity, there is a simple yet profound response that can disarm any tension: indifference. This doesn't mean apathy or a lack of care. It doesn't mean turning away from the world or abandoning your responsibility to others. No, indifference is a quiet strength. It is the ability to let go of the need to react, to not let someone else's negativity determine your emotional state. Imagine a calm, serene lake. No matter how violently the wind blows, the lake remains still, its surface undisturbed. This stillness, this calmness, is the essence of indifference. It is not the absence of feeling, but the absence of reactivity. It is the recognition that the words or actions of others are not an attack on your soul, but rather an expression of their own internal world. When you respond with indifference, you disempower the negativity directed at you. You refuse to allow it to disturb your peace. Neurobiology has shown that when we respond to anger with indifference, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, part of the brain responsible for calm, relaxation, and balance. When we stop engaging with the anger of others, we are able to return to a state of inner peace. This is because anger thrives on engagement. The more we react, the more we fuel the fire. But when we stop reacting, we starve it of its power. This doesn't mean you ignore the feelings of others or pretend nothing happened. Indifference is not about avoiding confrontation or hiding from the world. It's about recognizing that, while you cannot control how others behave, you have the power to control how you respond. You can choose to remain unshaken by their actions. You can choose to preserve your emotional energy, not by fighting back, but by simply refusing to be dragged into their turmoil. The next time someone tries to provoke you, try this simple technique, the 3-second rule. In the heat of the moment, when the urge to react rises, take a silent count of 3 in your mind before responding. In those 3 seconds, choose calmness over reaction. Feel the space between the provocation and your response. In that pause, you will find your power, the power to maintain your peace, to choose not to be affected. Indifference is the hidden strength that lies within us all, and the more you practice it, the more you will discover how much energy you've been wasting on reactions that serve no purpose. It's not indifference to the person, but indifference to their negativity. It's a refusal to let the storm inside them become a storm inside you. When you respond with indifference, you not only protect your inner peace, but you also regain control over your emotional state. True strength lies in the ability to stand firm in the face of provocation, to remain unshaken when the world around you is in turmoil. This is the art of responding with indifference, a strength that once cultivated will allow you to walk through life with a quiet confidence, untouched by the negativity that once had the power to disturb your peace. We live in a world that constantly tries to tell us what we should feel, how we should react, what we should do with our emotions. We are told that to be strong, we must fight against our feelings, that we must hold them in check, that we must keep them hidden from the world. But true strength doesn't come from suppressing or denying our emotions. It comes from embracing them, from understanding that our feelings are not our masters, they are our teachers. The myth of constant strength is one we must dismantle. Strength isn't found in the relentless suppression of emotion. It is found in the balance between embracing what we feel and not letting those feelings control us. Real emotional power lies in the ability to experience the full spectrum of emotions without being enslaved by them. It is the freedom to feel deeply without fear of being overwhelmed or losing ourselves in the process. As we journey down the path of emotional freedom, we realize that the true battle is not against the world or the people around us. The battle is within ourselves. It is the battle to choose how we respond to the circumstances of life. It is the freedom to choose peace, to choose calm, even when the world around us is anything but peaceful. It is the ability to recognize what is in our control and what is not, and to release the need to control everything. This is the practice of true strength. The ultimate practice of emotional freedom is not about avoiding difficult emotions, but about allowing them to move through us without taking hold of our minds and bodies. It is about understanding that emotions are not good or bad, they simply are. They are signals, they are messengers, and when we stop fighting them, when we stop allowing them to control us, we open ourselves to the possibility of peace. For the next 7 days, commit to observing your emotional responses without judgment. When anger arises, let it pass through you like a breeze. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then let it go. Don't hold on to it. Don't allow it to define you. As you practice this, you will begin to notice something profound happening inside you. You will begin to experience a deeper sense of peace, a calmness that doesn't depend on the external world, but comes from within. You will begin to feel the freedom that comes with knowing you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. This is the beginning of your journey toward emotional freedom. It's not a path that will be free of challenges, but it is a path that leads to true power, the power of peace, the power of choice, the power of emotional mastery. And as you walk this path, remember that every step you take is a step toward the freedom to live fully, to experience your emotions without fear, and to reclaim your inner peace.